Okay, so you click on class notebook, you click on collaboration space, and then click on week 3. And then we're Wednesday at 8 a.m. Can everyone put in the chat box that they found this page once they get there, so I can make sure everyone's at the same place? We got one person at the page. All right, so once again, we clicked on class notebook, clicked on collaboration space, week 3, and it's Wednesday at 8 a.m. Make sure you put in the chat that you found the page so I know that we can move on. Does anyone need help finding the page? Okay. Are you on our Teams page? Okay. Did you click class notebook at the top? Did you click on collaboration space? And then click on week 3. And then today's Wednesday at 8 a.m. There might be, let me show you. Is there a little arrow here that you have to click on? Because then it will show you the menu, and then collaboration space will be there. Perfect. Did everyone else find it? Ryan, Skylar, you find it?
It's not showing the collaboration thing.
Does it just look like this?
Yeah.
Did you have the little arrow in the corner?
I think. Let me check.
if you hover over it, it says open navigation panel.
Oh, yeah.
So you click on that,
Mm-hmm.
and then it will say collaboration space.
Okay.
You got it? All right. So the driving question that we're going to try to answer this week with our live class and the independent assignment is, what is the relationship between force and motion? And I also put the standard here. Remember, you guys will never have to memorize it, but we're going to talk about Newton's second law of motion. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, I already clicked on the link, is watch a 1 minute, 30-second YouTube video, but I'm going to play it a little slower to make sure you guys see everything. So the only thing you have to do is watch it right now, and then we're going to talk about it in the collaboration space. Okay? So you just have to watch right now. All right. So let's go back to the collaboration space. So I'm just going to ask you guys, hopefully you can see, is to write a 1-sentence summary about the video. Just what you noticed, what's happening. No questions yet. We're going to get to that. Just if you were telling someone who's never seen the video about what happened, how would you describe it? So all you have to do to type is double click and a box will show up. When you guys finish writing your one sentence summary, will you just put your initials next to it so I know whose sentence is whose, please? All right, so Erin's got hers. Waiting for 4 more people. What happened during the video? Could literally be as simple as a man jumped out of the plane, or sorry, hot air balloon, pulled his parachute, landed safely on the ground. Oh, Skylar, make sure you're on Wednesday at 8 a.m. right here, just because the other classes have already done it. So today is Wednesday at 8 a.m. Danielle, I know you just joined. If you go to our Teams page and click on class notebook, if you go to the corner, there'll be an arrow and this menu will pop out. And you'll click on collaboration space, week 3, Wednesday at 8 a.m. All right. So everyone's is pretty much the same. So this is just what we noticed happened in the video. So now we're going to watch it again at regular speed. And I want you guys to think about a question you have about what's going on, something maybe we can't see, about how he's falling. Keep the question in mind that we're trying to answer. What is the relationship between force and motion? So I obviously don't want you to repeat that question. I want you to try to come up with a different one. So we're going to watch it again. And then we're going to each ask a question, and I'll go first. So let me play this at normal speed. So really pay attention to how his body is falling when he jumps out of the hot air balloon shuttle thing. All right, so let's head back to our Teams page here. And I'm gonna write another prompt. So let's all write one question about the man's fall back to Earth. And we want to make sure that it is science related, not asking if he was scared. So if you saw at the bottom of the video, at one point they tell us the speed that he is falling back to Earth. So my question is, how did they calculate how fast he was falling? I'll put my initials. So now I want you guys to write a question about the video, about his fall back to Earth. Not exactly, Daniel. It's more than you think. It's more than just the equation we learned last week. All right, so Aaron's got a question. So everyone should be asking a question about the video. Ooh, potential energy. That's what we're going to talk about next week, actually. How did he take control of his body while he was falling? Good. All right. So what we're going to do next is a little activity. It's called Force in Motion Concept Builder. So our goal during this is just to describe the motion of an object. We're not meant to get all of these correct. We're just trying to figure out how a force, which is these arrows, are going to make this block move. So we have forces, and then we have motion of the box. All right, so an object is experiencing the force shown at the right. Each arrow represents a force in the specified direction. The length of the arrow represents the strength of the force. So these are all the same length, all the arrows, so all the forces are the same. Which dot diagram represents a possible state of motion of such an object? Select all that apply. So this box here has a force pushing it up, a force pushing it down, and a force pushing it to the left. There's no force being applied to the right. So what direction do you guys think this box is going to be moving? Or do you think it's going to be at rest? You can put it in the Zoom chat box. What direction do you think it's going to be moving? All right, so everyone says to the left. Do we think it's going to be slowing down, speeding up, or moving constantly? Oh, sorry, I just sent that to only Keishley. I'll put it to everyone, even though you can probably see my screen. So is it slowing down, speeding up, moving constantly, or could it be more than one of those depending on the situation? So we have one person saying moving constantly. Is there anything else I should add before I check the answer? It can't be anything. We only have 3 options right now. Slowing down, speeding up, or moving constantly. Erin says we should add that it's speeding up. Anyone else? Daniel agrees, speeding up. So should I check these 2 answers here? You think it's slowing down too? All right, should I check the answer? Yes, no? All right, we're gonna check it. We weren't correct, but we'll see a similar question soon. All right, so let's look at this one. We have 2 equal arrows up and down. We have 1 long arrow to the left and then 1 short arrow to the right. So what direction do we think this one is going to be moving? Left or right? All right, so everyone agrees it's going to be moving to the left. And it's definitely going to be more slowly because of this arrow pulling it to the right. So because it's moving to the left, we have to pick one of these first. And then because we also have a right arrow, we're going to pick one of the top row too. So we're going to pick one to the left and one to the right. So how do you think we should model that? So it's probably going to be speeding up in one direction and slowing down in another. Like how we talked about the acceleration of the car last week. So which one to the right should I pick? So I have 2 to say that it's slowing down to the left. What's happening to the right? So we have someone saying speeding up for the right, and then one person saying decreasing the speed. So remember that a longer arrow means a bigger force. So say you're standing at the top of a hill and I gave you a little tap, you're probably not going to move that much. But if I shoved you and you started moving down the hill, that's what this arrow would represent. So the arrow to the left is going to be increasing, and then the arrow to the right is going to be decreasing. Do we think it could be constant at any point? Do we think it could be constant anywhere? Or should I just check our answer? Daniel says not constant. So should I check my answer? All right, so we got that one correct. All right, so here's like one that we saw in the beginning. So what direction is the force being applied? What direction? To the right. And we have nothing to the left. So Daniel says constantly to the right. Could it be anything else? And then we have someone saying speeding up to the right. Should I check our answer? Could have been something else. All right, so now we're going to talk about vertical motion. So that was just talking about left and right. So now we're going to talk about vertical motion. So we have a longer arrow going down and a smaller arrow going up. So what do we think this could represent? The arrows aren't the same length, so I don't think it's going to be constant. Moving down. And then how can we represent this shorter arrow going up? How can we represent this part of the diagram? Take a guess. Do we think it's moving constantly up, speeding up, slowing down? We got 2 for slowing down. Good, the top arrow is definitely gonna slow the box down. So if you think about it, when the guy jumped out of the plane, gravity was pulling him down. We talked about gravity last week. But then when he opened his parachute, he started slowing down. Yeah, so the bottom, he's gonna be moving a lot faster. So this box could actually represent that situation that we just watched. Good, we answered correctly. All right, so now this is the opposite. How can we describe this one? How can we describe this box when the shorter arrow is on the bottom and the longer arrow for force is on the top? The top part will be gaining speed. What about the bottom part? The bottom will be slower. Does everyone agree with these 2 answers? Should I check them? Good. All right. So what is the name of the force that is pulling this back down to earth that we talked about last week? Just like when the man jumped out of the plane, what is the name of that force that's pulling him back down to earth? Gravity, good. So how can we describe what's happening to this box? There could be more than one answer. So we have one for speeding up. What else could be happening? Ooh, someone said constant speed. Anyone else? Should I check them? Yes, no, maybe? Not quite. All right, so we are going to go back to our class notebook. So everyone, make sure you have this open. And I'm going to insert a picture of a man. I've been using this guy. Once it loads. All right. So I want us to describe motion of man right when he jumps out of the, we'll call it a shuttle. I liked how you guys called it a shuttle. So at the very moment he jumps out, not when he pulls the parachute. So hopefully you can still see my screen. Right there. Right when he jumps out of the plane, how can we describe what's happening to his body? Think about forces and motion. What's pulling him back down to earth? Good. Gravity is pulling him back down to earth. Good. So I just put a G for gravity and an arrow that's pulling him down. How could we describe his speed? Is he accelerating? Is he starting to go faster when he jumps out of the plane? Does he have a lot of speed? Daniel says yes, he's going to be speeding up. So I'm thinking about, I'm going to put a longer arrow and put S for speed because he's gaining speed going down. He's accelerating. Is there any way else I should describe him, or are we good? Because next we're going to talk about when the parachute opens. So I'm going to take, all right. So I'm going to draw a parachute coming off of our guy. Whoop. Okay. So right when he opens the parachute, let me show that part of the video. What happens when he opens the parachute? Or what is the purpose of the parachute? Yes. So when he opened the parachute, he started to slow down. So I'm going to draw another arrow for speed, but I'm going to make this one shorter. He started slowing down. So I'm actually going to label this deceleration. So deceleration, if you remember from last week, is when the velocity is changing, it's slowing down. Is gravity still acting on him? Is he still moving back down to the earth? Yes. And the strength of gravity is always the same. So I'm just going to make G equal right there. What was filling up the hot air, the parachute that made him slow down? What was it filling up with? Air, yep. So exactly, it was capturing the air. So we actually call that air resistance. It's a type of friction. So the parachute caused air resistance, which made him slow down or decelerate. I just wanted to summarize what we were saying here. All right, so we're actually going to make one more diagram. And I want us to talk about right when he hits the grass, right when he landed. So I'll show that part of the video. He lands and he walks. No. Okay, right here. He lands and he starts to walk, right? There wasn't that big of an impact. So I'm going to draw his parachute, but it wasn't as inflated. So when he hit the ground, was gravity still acting on him? Or did he float away? We got 1 for yes, gravity was still acting on him. Anyone else? We got 2. So remember, gravity is always acting on us here on Earth. Let's talk about the speed. Was he moving any more back down to Earth, or was he there? Did he stop getting pulled down? Good, there was a force on his legs when he landed. Let's talk about that. So when his feet hit the ground, did he go through the dirt? Did he keep falling, or did he just land on top of the ground? Yes. So he landed on top of the ground. He didn't go through. So there's actually a force that is the opposite of gravity that pushes us back up. So if you think about it, wherever you are right now, we are sitting, we're laying on our beds, we're standing, we're on top of the surface. So we don't go through. You may not know the name of this force yet, but it's the reason why we don't keep going down to the center of the Earth. And you'll actually learn about it this week. So when something's on a flat surface like the ground, gravity's pulling it down, and there's a equal and opposite force going the other direction. So I'm gonna just write that he had no more acceleration. No acceleration, because he already reached the ground, so he wasn't falling anymore. So the title of this video is a supersonic free fall. So a free fall is literally just when you are falling and gravity is pulling you down. Nothing pushed you. It's just you, your body, and gravity. So the last thing I want to do today is let's revisit our driving question. So our driving question was, what is the relationship between force and motion? So we are going to create a hypothesis, which is a guess, to answer the driving question. What is the relationship between force and motion? So everyone is going to just take a guess. What do you think the relationship is between these two things? It doesn't have to be correct. It can just be a vague idea to start, because at the end of your independent assignment this week, you're going to come back once you learn some more and try to re-answer this question. So based off everything we talked about today about gravity and speed, acceleration, I just want you to take a guess. What is the relationship between force and motion? You could always start by restating the question, like the relationship between force and motion is, you absolutely don't have to follow that. I'm just saying that's an option if you need somewhere to start. All right, so we got one answer. That force can pull on an item, which causes it to move. And then the item will be in motion. That's a good start. There has to be a force in order for motion. I like where this sentence is going. In order for motion to be caused. Good. So everyone's pretty much saying that there has to be a force applied to an object for motion to happen. Good, so that's a good start. All right, so I just want to remind you guys that when we're in our Teams page, when you click on assignments, this is where you can find your weekly assignments. Yours might look a little different because this is the teacher version, but you can find week 1, week 2, and week 3. So weeks 1 and 3 are shorter than week 2, but still try to get them all done. So this is the assignment for this week, early start week 3. You're gonna have to draw in the class notebook again. So to do that, you just want to click on your name. Here, I'll go to there you are. So when you do your assignment, you're just going to click on your name, week 3 assignment. There's an untitled page, and you can just click on draw and create your model right here. Okay? Just like we did in the collaboration space, but it's right under your own name. All right, so make sure you guys get those assignments done. I'm pretty much always available for questions whenever you need it, okay? Does anyone have any questions right now about what we did today, the work? All right. So everyone can take a break. I'm gonna end the meeting, and then I'm not sure what you guys have next. It might be the science independent work. So I'm gonna hop back on Zoom after. If you guys have any questions, you can do it by yourself, email me, whatever you guys need, okay? Thank you guys for coming. You too, Bendrick.